The Russian president's warned militarist rhetoric in the Middle East and an attack on Iran could lead to a catastrophic war in the region. Dmitry Medvedev's statements came during the joint press conference with his German counterpart. Russia's been voicing strong words against an attack on Iran following statements by Israel that a strike is more likely than diplomacy. The UN atomic watchdog is about to report as well on Iran's nuclear activities and provide evidence. It says that Tehran has built a testing facility and computer models of warheads. Now, Iran has dismissed those allegations, calling them fabricated. Let's talk to former CIA Officer Philip Giraldi now, who's on the line from Washington. Philip, very good evening. If we are to believe what's being leaked about this report, Iran is going to have some serious questions to answer, isn't it? But taking that on again, who really benefits from portraying Iran once again as the bad guy?
Well, I think in this case it's quite clear that it's the United States and Israel that are basically trying to turn the heat up on Iran. And I would be very skeptical about this report that's coming out from the International Atomic Energy Agency, because the IAEA doesn't really have any intelligence capabilities of its own. And if it's relying on reports that are coming from other people, I would rather suspect those reports are coming from the United States and Israel. So it's an endless cycle of trying to prove the unprovable in this case. Does Iran have a bomb? No. Does Iran have the intention to get a bomb? No one knows that except the Iranian leadership. So I think this is a false situation that's being overhyped in an effort to get some political leverage out of it.
Of course, Philip, on the eve of this report, we cast our minds back to 2003 and that report about Iraq and those supposed WMDs, that evidence that came forward. And yet, of course, at the end of the day, it was all proved to be false. As a former intelligence officer yourself, could you explain how there could be such a large mistake? And, of course, I guess that's cast a lot of shadows over any further official findings like we're going to see tomorrow too, isn't it?
Well, that's true, and the problem is with the world of intelligence. I mean, it's sometimes referred to as smoke and mirrors for reasons that are very clear. The problem is that you may have a piece of evidence of some kind, but that piece of evidence is subject to your interpretation as to what it means. When they saw aerial photographs in Iraq showing certain things, they interpreted those photographs to mean something which was not correct. So the fact is that it is in the mind of the policymakers and of those who are directing the intelligence organization to make an analysis and determine what they're seeing. And very often this analysis is shaped by political considerations and turns out to be incorrect.
Of course, one country very interested in what's being said here, Israel. This week, the Israeli president, the prime minister, now even the foreign minister, all threatening military action against Iran. This kind of rhetoric's not new, though. It's been around for years. Should Iran be taking these latest threats more seriously this time, do you think?
I think they should be taking it more seriously because it seems to be a more consistent pattern. The debate in the Israeli cabinet earlier this week was half of the cabinet was in favor of war with Iran as long as the United States started the fighting, and the other half was in favor with Israel starting the fighting. And of course, if Israel starts the fighting, the United States will get involved. So it's basically the same formula. I think that the Israeli government is behaving extremely irrationally because even many senior former officials in the Israeli government admit that Iran poses no military threat to Israel.
Philip, I spoke to the Iranian president just a couple of months ago. Then he reiterated once again that his country, Iran, has been cooperating with the UN atomic watchdog for many years. So it begs the question, why is its peaceful nuclear program continuing to raise so much concern among the US and its allies?
Well, I think the answer to that is actually very simple. There are many countries in the Middle East, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, that have what they describe as breakout capability, the technical ability to develop a nuclear weapon. But it's only Iran that seems to be in the focus, and this is because of the perception that Iran is a threat to Israel. Israel is very capable of using its friends in the media and in the U.S. Congress to heighten this sense of threat. And as I said before, I believe very firmly that this sense of threat is much overstated.
Always good to get your informed view. Philip Giraldi, former CIA officer, talking to us on the line there from Washington. Thanks for being on RT.